think I might see a deer.
Oh, well, howdy there, partners. My name is Cowboy Caleb, and I have a funny story for today's video. But before I get talking about today's video, if you are wondering about more information about my YouTube channel, go to thecalebstudio.wordpress.com for more information about my YouTube channel. And this is ice fishing part 4, but it has a funny story behind it, and there's so much I have to talk about, but let me start with the part where our Uncle Danny drops his phone down the ice fishing hole. So our Uncle Danny, right, he gets this new phone for his birthday a couple days ago. Well, yeah, a week and a half ago probably, and 3 days later he goes ice fishing, right? So he takes his new phone with him, but while he is ice fishing, he decides to take his new phone ice fishing. So his phone decided to fall out of his pocket and go down the fish hole into the pond. Now that to me, that's probably, I feel a little bad, but also like, So, a couple days later, we go ice fishing, right? So, we go to the bait store where we always go to, before we ice fish, because you definitely bait before you go ice fishing, or else you're not going to catch any fish. And, we go to the bait store, we get our bait, and we're on our way to the pond that we always ice fish on, right? It's basically, it's not that long of a drive, but we are driving, and it's like 5 minutes after we leave the bait store, we're driving, but all of a sudden, we hear squeaking in our snowmobile trailer, and so we stopped the truck, and we pulled over on the side of the road. But my grandfather, he looked under the trailer. He looked at the trailer, but he couldn't see what was wrong with it. So we had to drive a couple meters, and we figured out, or we thought it was the wheel bearing, which technically doesn't need to be in a trailer, a snowmobile trailer. And so it took like a couple minutes for us to figure out. And we were in an in-town part of a town, so there was like driveways going to houses like every 20 feet, so we couldn't pull over at a good spot. But finally, we found a little store that we happened to know, so we pulled into the driveway, asked permission if we could park in their driveway to see what was happening to the trailer, and we got permission. So we took out our tools in the back of the truck, and we looked under the trailer, and the axle to the trailer broke because we happened to hit a frost heave that it wasn't even that bad, but apparently it broke the axle, or that's what we think, how the axle broke. So we thought that our ice fishing trip was canceled that day. So we had to drive home. But luckily, our grandfather's home was 4 miles away. But you would be surprised at how long it took to drive there because of a broken trailer. We were going like 2 miles an hour, plus taking breaks, so it took us about like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get home. Yeah, it was kind of boring, but it was funny. I feel like to me it was funny. But I thought he was saying that's probably the end of our ice fishing trip that day, which I thought it was too. But like when we're like almost like 30 minutes away from home, in the 2 miles per hour range, um, my grandfather was saying he had a different trailer, but it's not technically a trailer made for snowmobile, but it's better than nothing. So we managed to get back home within 2 hours later, and we so we had to dig out the trailer, the second trailer, because it was full of snow. So we had to, me and my brother had to shovel it, and so we unloaded the snowmobiles out of the snowmobile trailer, and got the snowmobile into the second trailer, and it took a lot of work to switch from one trailer to another, and then that second trailer happened to have a flat tire, so we had to drive all the way to a gas station and put the air in the tire, and it was like, I'd say it was like 12:30 by the time we left our house with the second trailer. So we had to fill the air in the tire, and then, but meanwhile, while all of this is happening, our Uncle Danny was ice fishing that day, and he knew we were gonna go over that day and ice fish with him. But 2 hours passed, right? He's at the ice shack, and he's thinking, they aren't here yet. Something's probably on. And it was, so 2 hours have passed, and he's like, okay, I gotta go look for them. So he drives all the way back to our house to see if he could see our car, but he didn't. Luckily, it had probably been just after we left the house that he went to our house to see if we could see, to see if he could see our trailer and our truck, but our trailer and truck weren't there because we had left with the second trailer. So he drives all the way to the bait store that we went to, and he asks them, have you seen a grandfather with 4 grandsons? And they're like, yep, we have. And he's like, can I borrow your phone? And so he borrows their phone, and he calls my grandfather. We're like 2 minutes away from the pond. We're 2 minutes away from the pond. So he calls my grandfather saying that, what happened, and where are you? And we told him the whole story, and because our Uncle Danny, he couldn't call us because he didn't have a phone. He had to borrow somebody else's phone, which was the bait store's phone. So a lot happened. Really, a lot happened that day. But at least we went ice fishing, especially with our Uncle Danny. That was the first time I've actually ice fished with our Uncle Danny before. And we only got to ice fish for 2 hours, but at least I caught a fish. I actually happened to catch a fish. I was the only one that caught a fish. Our Uncle Danny, he didn't catch any fish in his fishing traps. It's just a lot happened that day. That here was a big catastrophe, I like to call it. And it was like that ice fishing trip I'll definitely remember. And yeah, it's interesting how it happened and what were the outcomes of it. And we're gonna have to get a new snowmobile trail, or we're gonna have to get a new snowmobile trailer, and we're gonna have to use our second trailer for the rest of the ice fishing year. But I think we're only gonna get another trip. At least we're only gonna get, I don't think we're gonna get any more trips except for one, because all of this week, or this upcoming week, is supposed to be in the 60s. So, and the ice shack is supposed to come off. It was supposed to come off March 9th, which is Monday, 2 days from now. but I don't know. I don't know actually, but I just know that all of this upcoming week is supposed to be 60 degrees, so we are not gonna ice fish at all this week. But maybe the week after, I don't know. But this is a story for you to learn and know that sometimes when you're ice fishing, sometimes you catch fish and some days you don't catch fish. Because bad things happen, but sometimes you are able to be lucky and get at least 2 hours out of your ice fishing trip. Yeah, it was a big catastrophe, but this is the end of this video. I hope you like this big catastrophe video. It was just, I knew that I had to at least get this video uploaded because I knew this video would be a fun video to tell to you guys. And I will see you next week.